Alright, now it's time to talk about that while loop I was talking about. So, a while loop, how it's different than a for loop is a for loop we sort of have a predetermined range of numbers or something that has a defined end to it. So in this case we have a range that's set. We know the end of it. When we loop through the list, we had a set number of items in that list. With a while loop, we can use that when we don't really know how long or when the condition is going to be met. So let's make a variable called var num, set it equal to 5, and now we can say while var num is greater than 10, print hello. So what this is going to do is say while this variable is greater than 10, print hello. So let's run it. So you notice nothing happened. Well, that happened because this wasn't true, so it didn't even execute it. So let's say while it's less than 10, print hello. So you notice right now it's going crazy. There's no end in sight. It's just going to keep doing this because it's going to say while it's less than 10, is it less than 10? Yep. All right, go ahead and print hello, and then loop back, check this, evaluate this again. Is that true? Yep, print it again, and it's just going to keep going and going and going forever. So right now this is an infinite loop. There's no way to, we're not changing the value of var num. So that's what we would have to do if we didn't want this to be an infinite loop. We'd have to change this value. So we're going to say print hello, and now we're going to increment var num by 1. So var num plus, so normally in other languages it's plus plus, which just means just add 1 to it, but in Python it's plus equals 1. So if we do this now, we see it only executes it until it's not less than 10. So that makes sense. That's useful. So this comes in handy when you're waiting for some event to happen in your code, and once it does, then you execute it, or then you end it basically. So it, like in your while loop in your code down here, you might have a bunch of if statements, and if a lot of certain conditions are true, that's when you would want to increment it. But if not, don't increment it. So the programmer has no idea how many times it's going to loop because it has to go through all these tests basically. So that's the case where you'd want to use a while loop. So we have an infinite loop. Just another cool way to make a really fast infinite loop is just to say while true, print 5. And here we have an infinite loop down here. So it's basically saying while true, and we're not changing it, so it's true. Like nothing is happening. It's just going to keep going on. So if you wanted to, show your parents or your mom or some of your friends an infinite loop, this is like the most compact way I can think of to make an infinite loop. It's pretty cool. So I think I just realized we didn't even cover like basic addition and subtraction, but it's almost, we don't even really have to explain it, but we've got some time in this video, so we'll just get those coffee mug variables out. Coffee mug equals 4, is 5. So we can just do basic arithmetic. So we can say total equals coffee var plus coffee var 2, and then just print that out. So there we go, 9. So we can do everything you can think. We can subtract, we can multiply, which is used by the number, the asterisk sign, which is above the 8, or not above it, but it's on the 8 there. We can divide. Okay. Okay, so one other thing that's kind of confusing, that this confused me for a while. Let's do 15 and 3, and we're going to use something called the modulus sign. So this is the dividing sign. Let's use this modulus sign and see what we get. We get 0. So what this is looking for, it's looking for a remainder basically. So it's saying coffee var, which is 15, divided by coffee var 2, which is 3. Is there anything left over? So there's not. So if we made this 16, we get 1. And we get 1 because we get this 3 goes into it 4 times or 5 times, and then there's 1 left over. So 5 times is 15, and then if we try to do it 6 times, we get 18. So basically the answer is, let's get a calculator, do 16 divided by 3 is 5.33. But we're not interested in this, we just want the remainder. So I guess, I wonder if this would work. 16 modulus 3. I don't think that's the right, that's percentage sign. Yeah, I hope that made sense. It's kind of like kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it's basically just looking for the remainder. Um, we'll try to use that in a program in the future. All right.